Black people value emotion over evidence. If you can appeal to the emotions of the black community, you don't need to actually have any evidence behind any promises that you make or anything that you say. What am I talking about? Well, let's look at this. Beyonce was paid $10 million to attend Kamala's rally and to speak. She didn't even perform. But black people was out there en masse ready to see Beyonce. They was ready to join the Beehive out there in Houston. They was ready. When Glorilla showed up, she was paid. Megan Thee Stallion was paid $5 million because the thing that the establishment knows, you want to get to the Negro, get to his emotions. How do you do that? You do that through the use of music. There was a point in our nation's history, I'll never forget, Martin Luther King said, I remember when we were going out of the 16th Street Baptist Church day after day. By the hundreds we would move out, and Bull Connor would tell them to send the dogs forth, and they did come. But we just went before the dogs singing, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Next, Bull Connor would say, turn the fire hoses on. And as I said to you the other night, Bull Connor didn't know history. He knew a kind of physics that somehow didn't relate to the trans physics that we knew about, and that was the fact that within our souls there burned a certain kind of fire that no water could put out. You see, we had known water. If we were Baptist or some other denominations, we had been immersed. If we were Methodist and some others, we had been sprinkled, but we knew water and that couldn't stop us. And so we went on before the dogs and the water hoses. They'd look at us, we'd look at them. And we would just go on singing over my head, I see freedom in the air. And then we'd be thrown in the paddy wagons, and sometimes we were stacked in there like sardines in a can. They would throw us in, and then old Bull would say, take them off, and we did, but we would go on in the paddy wagon singing, we shall overcome. And then you would be thrown in jail, and you would see the jailers looking in through the windows, being moved by our words, and being moved by our prayers and by our songs, and so there was a power there in those jail cells Bull Connor couldn't adjust to. And so we ended up turning old Bull into a steer, and we won our struggle in Birmingham. And this is the same thing that we are now facing and battling with in reverse in the black community. The same thing, the same tool that we use to uplift each other, to pray together, to work together, to struggle together, to stand up for freedom together. The power of music is now used to destroy each other internally, because you have women walking around using music to shake their ass and twerk all over the place. You got men talking about sleeping with women and unaliving each other. I ask you this one question. When will we wake up and realize that emotion is not more valuable than evidence? And the evidence indicates that for the longest time, the Democratic Party has made a slew of promises, yet performed very little of those promises. When will we realize that now is the time to take control of our own political narrative? We as a people, as a culture, uplifted Barack Obama and were willing to award him a Nobel Peace Prize simply because he looked better than Shirley Chisholm and he talked better than Jesse Jackson. That is it. We crafted songs of hope and change for Barack Obama and the Democratic establishment, yet they have done little to nothing of substance for us. Wake up, see the game, understand the game, and change the game. That's what has to happen if we're going to ever get out of this rut that we find ourselves in the black community. You dig?